Hello. We are today with the senior serving protodeacon of the cathedral in Jordanville, of the monastery in Jordanville, Father Peter Markevich. Father Peter, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, greetings, Father Andre. Thank you for inviting me to come on.
Of course.
I am Father Peter Markevich. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, in the parish of All Russian Saints in Burlingame, California. In 2009, after graduating university, I came to seminary in Jordanville and was assigned to work in the bookstore. And over time, I was asked to become the manager of the bookstore and then perform dual service as bookstore manager and working with the team of Holy Trinity Publications, the publishing house of the monastery. I taught for a few years in the seminary after graduating in 2013, and now I'm fully dedicated to the work of continuing our missionary publishing endeavors, which brings me here to Baltimore, to the OCA's All-American Council, where we, along with many other publishers, iconographers, other sorts of vendors, are displaying our publications and offering books to the delegates and other visitors and attendees at the council.
Thank you, Father. What are your impressions from the council have been so far?
So this is my third time being at the All-American Council, and what strikes me as most important and most valuable is not really the official sessions and the official meetings, although those are important, but the informal gatherings and the sort of sideline gatherings that are able to take place. So clergy, priests are able to meet with, their seminary classmates. Each of the seminaries, St. Tikhon, St. Vladimir's, holds a reception for its alumni at some point during these councils. Matushki are able to get together formally and informally. There's always a Matushka breakfast with the Metropolitan. There are smaller diocesan meetings, and some of the dioceses will even hold their annual assembly, the official gathering of that diocese, in conjunction with the All-American Council. And you will have not just the attendees of the national All-American Council, but also delegates specifically to the diocesan council come, and then they can take part in the unofficial gatherings as well. So this sense of a place where every 3 years we're able to connect again with people from all over the Orthodox Church in America, and feel like one church, I think is very important and valuable.
Thank you, Father. Being born and bred Russian Church abroad, I'm searching for a better word than a product, like all products. So if I say don't take it as anything diminishing. So we're all products of our milieu or whatever. But I mean, do you feel like you are in a foreign land right now? Or how do you feel, I mean, coming from rock or how to say, I mean...
This may be a surprising thing to say, but no, I don't feel at all like I'm in a foreign land. There is a bit more liturgical diversity here, although much of it comes not from, say, Greek practices or something like that, but for example, every morning here there is a divine liturgy served, and yesterday morning the liturgy was served by Bishop Alexis of Sitka, who's the relatively recently elected bishop of the Alaskan diocese, with his clergy. And the Alaskan sort of practices and singing and even languages, partly, is a unique aspect of the OCA's heritage, especially. That was nice to see. But in terms of ethos, in terms of the mindset of the priests, I don't see a great deal of difference. Especially the younger the priest is, the more he seems like perhaps one of our southern clergy, one of our southern priests. But you only see cassocks in priests younger than, say, 50.
Right. Right.
Just to pick a superficial aspect. These are people that it's very easy to speak with, who are of the same mind on very many important questions. So no, I don't feel like a stranger in a strange land.
Right. And what you have said and what Father Vitaly said earlier actually points out that the event revolves around divine liturgy. And Father Vitaly mentioned that this Alaskan liturgy, actually, it was an opportunity for clergymen to celebrate with their ruling hierarchy. I think it's very beautiful. I think it's very rocker, basically. I kind of, I can see how our people would basically see things this way. So that's something that also maybe worth to mention. So having said all that, what do you think, what can be take away, right? So kind of OCA is church that is run by this council. Rocker is historically very hierarchical, right? So, but I mean, is there anything we can take? I mean, what can be take away for us here in the Russian Church abroad from this event?
I think there are several things. First of all, as I mentioned before, just the ability to informally gather in such a large setting. This is perhaps, it would be more costly, more difficult to organize for us as a global church than it is for the OCA, which is pretty much limited to one continent. But it would still be incredibly valuable to be able to gather together in such a way. As far as the formal, official matters, now, so the OCA presents and votes on resolutions at the All-American Council to update its statutes. It will elect officers for the entire church. And these are things that we in the Russian Church abroad probably would not do because we put much more emphasis on the authority of the hierarchs. However, there are things like the primate's address on the first plenary session to update the entire church on what has happened in the last 3 years, or between the councils. This is something that would be perfectly fitting for our first hierarch to give, as well as other invited speakers, say to address some spiritual topic or some topic of conflict. There could also be, without any power to amend statutes or to force some decision upon the bishops, a public hearing and an ability for delegates to address matters that are of importance. And as well, we have many peripherals, the wrong word, but organizations, endeavors that are connected to the church abroad. I think, for example, of the Fund for Assistance. That's a very good example. That could also hold organizational meetings and have a chance to interact with other members of the clergy and of the church, to solicit support and work and cooperation towards projects. That would be a great benefit as a venue for them to advance their cause.
Kind of taking up on what you said, you and me attended this year both clergy retreats. Basically, we already have some kind of a form of assembly, which is kind of, as you said, inspiring when you see long bearded or just bearded men in black in numbers. It's kind of basically gives you the feeling of shoulder. So yes, right. But I mean, commonly we've been told that it's really takes a lot of organizational efforts. It's a headache for bishops to organize anything like that. It's apparently it's not very clear why would we need it. So that's kind of the message I got. All right, yeah.
Yeah, it is certainly a big organizational undertaking. There are different models of how to do this sort of thing. The OCA plans, I think, from Syosset, these councils in terms of choosing the location, getting the best, financial package together to make it worthwhile. The Antiochians, who also meet every 2 years in an, I suppose it's Archdiocesan Assembly, their national assembly for the Archdiocese of North America. They have, their larger parishes will bid, so to speak, to host in their location the biennial assembly, and the parish will take a lot of the organizational tasks upon themselves. So there are different ways to do things. There are different ways to lessen the burden. But there are also many organizational questions just to gather the bishops by themselves, for their councils. And these gatherings for the OCA also serve as a meeting of a session of their Council of Bishops, who are, of course, all here and participating. And they will meet multiple times a day. They'll have breakfast together, they'll have dinner, and they'll have their official sessions. Just on the first day of the council, they confirmed the election of Bishop Daniel as the new ruling hierarch of their Diocese of the Midwest, to replace Archbishop Paul, who recently reposed. So there's a lot of the hierarchical business going on at the same time as the larger assemblies with clergy and laity.
That sounds like very intense, loaded time.
Yes. Yes.
And I would like to wish you to have very productive concluding days of this event. And also, I heard in what you were saying that you also attended an Antiochian convention. So you are really a unique man for us with unique knowledge. So, and
we sell books to whomever and wherever they are appreciated.
Oh, no. All right, Father, so I hope to see you safe in one piece. And thank you so much for finding time to